Hi, this is Odeean here today. I've got the KO version of the MP-17 Prowl toy. Now, I have an original. Here is my Takara MP-17 Prowl. He is really awesome and pretty much perfect toy. For all intents and purposes, this KO, at least in the vehicle mode which I've seen so far, is exactly the same and not lacking in any way. Like, there's no defects that I can just point out. All the spelling is correct. The paint apps seem to be in the right places. The Autobot symbol is pretty crisp. There's no great paint defects or anything like that. We've got the Z symbol at the front here, which is equally as crisp as the original. Let's turn it around to the back. Any differences there? No, the tail lights seem to be pretty much the same as well. Maybe the tail lights are just a little bit more subdued. Perhaps they got one less spray of the paint. I'm not sure exactly how that works. So that's one noticeable difference at least. But at a reasonable distance where you would have this on display, there is no discernible difference. The box is pretty perfect and, you know, it's indiscernible from the original to me. I've got the original here on the right, and like even down to the corrugations under the surface, this seems exactly the same to me. So I would be willing to bet that this is the same box and comes from the same place, because there are no differences. If anything, the only thing that I can pick on this guy, at least in this mode, is this. Maybe you'll be able to hear it. I don't know if that's coming through on the mic on my camera here, my phone, but there is a rattle. What the rattle is the missile launcher inside. It's got no friction in its pin joint, and it's just free pivoting up and down there, and that didn't happen in my original. Like, if you look here, you can see that they're relatively stiff. They don't move on their own. So that's one thing at least that is a little bit substandard. Here in robot mode, the first differences start to become apparent. At arm's length like this, they're not glaring, and to be honest, most people would probably not even notice them. But the first thing I'll bring up is this loose hip. So, I mean, it's within the realms of normality for Masterpiece. My Takara version, Red Alert, had loose joints like this. None of my Z cars have had any loose joints, the official ones. So, you know, it's a little different. Another pretty major difference is the face. This face has a kind of more granular paint job and, most strikingly, a narrow nose. The face does not look like the official. If I just grab the official one, slide him over here for a minute, you'll see that the nose is wider and the lips are more pronounced and has a smoother texture on it. So, I mean, as far as molding differences go, there aren't other molding differences that I can find, but just in that face area, and it's really quite weird how they could produce every other detail exactly the same, yet produce a wrong face. I just don't get that. I wish the mystery of these things would be solved so we would know what's going on with that, because it seems ridiculous to me to just screw up the face. But, you know, as I said, at arm's length, it's not something you're going to notice. When you put it back like that, it's really hard to even tell. The paintwork in robot mode also starts to look a bit rough around the edges that weren't visible in car mode. So these seams here, which weren't visible, are quite bad on the inside of the leg there, and like it's a little bit dirty up here, like the paint was sticky and someone touched it. I'm not sure if the officials are all clean like my one, but if you look at my official one here, that's nice and clean there. There's no fingerprints on the thigh, and all the paint is good. It's like almost that this was transformed into car mode before it was dry, so the two parts sticking together might have fused a little bit. I don't know. Again, it's not too noticeable, especially considering the price difference, and standing back like that, you'd be hard pressed to even see it. The next difference with the KO is that the tab on the gun here is very tight, so I'm going to push it in. Now I'm holding that and it's fully inserted, but it is actually so tight that it pops itself back out. That would be very easy to fix just by filing the little tab there a little bit, because it's not a loose issue, it's a tight issue, which is easy to deal with. The other way around, not so much. But I haven't found that in any of my official versions either, so that's another kind of minor thing. To my surprise, when I got this in the box, it had two chromed shoulder-mounted rocket launchers that the listing hadn't mentioned. So I've actually gone and bought a set of 6 or something of these, and it's coming to me in the mail at the moment. I bought that before I realized I was getting these for free. As I mentioned, these things are a little bit loose, so they don't really hold up at all like that, but they do the job. They're pretty cool, and they didn't cost anything, which is like a little added bonus. And to see how they fit on the official version, let's just pop his cannon up like that and see if it can hold the weight. So the real one has enough friction to hold the weight of the rocket launchers, which is a lot better. So that's about it. My final thoughts on this guy are really coming down to money. So I paid $35 for this shipped. That's a total of $35 by the time it got to me for a masterpiece figure with a few defects. Now, I've said it before in my other videos. I don't believe these are KOs. I believe these are factory defects. Somebody's probably stealing them, sticking bits and pieces in their pocket, or doing a night shift. I don't know how exactly it's happening, but it's too close. I don't believe this is a KO. All the things that I've pointed out, like a little bit of ruined paint here, a fingerprint in the paint here, tolerance issues, these seem to me to be the kind of thing that parts would be rejected for, and maybe someone's just grabbing a whole bunch and sticking them together. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. The only unexplainable thing is the face. Why the face is different, I can't explain that, and I would love to know the truth behind this, because if it's really a KO, why would they KO the face poorly? If it's really an official, where do these dud faces come from? Did they make a bad batch and then change in the middle of production for the official ones? I don't know. Anyway, I think that it's really good value for $35. I would discourage anybody from just buying that figure, because if you do, and everybody starts doing that, we are not going to get the whole G1 cast in Masterpiece, because why would Takara keep doing it if nobody pays for it? So I suggest you go and pay for the original, which is really awesome and worth it, even at the $70 or so that they normally cost, and then go and buy another one so you can play with it and wreck it and don't worry about it at all. This has been Odeean for my video review of MP-17 Prowl Masterpiece KO. Thanks for watching.